Yeah, the answer is yes. Before anybody asks, yes, I am. I am gonna get them red cartoon boots. I am getting them this weekend for sure.
Oh, don't do it.
Damn right. And I don't care what none of y'all think about it. Whenever you hear that MVP chant, you already know what's the deal. It's the most valuable podcast in the world. It's the Hitmen podcast, super episode, super soul. Chris checking in, MG checking in. What's the word, bro? How you feeling?
Man, tired, man.
Yeah, you was up. You was up last night.
Bruh, it been a long week.
Wall to wall coverage. You got your You just told me you Valentine's Day plans is set up for the end of the week instead of tomorrow, instead of on the actual day, huh?
Yeah, when life calls, man, you gotta answer it.
I feel it. I feel it. Appreciate you. My dog had me laced up in Detroit this past weekend. I was up there for work, and we was able to get up and catch some games and kick it real quick. So I appreciate you holding me down, big dog.
Oh, for sure. Always, man. Got to tap in finally, bro.
Yeah,
Been a long time coming.
1,000,000%. Big announcement. Like I said, we got the contest rolling on Instagram. One of these fell off the truck. If you're watching on YouTube, one of these fell off the truck. So make sure you tap into the social space. Hit up the Instagram for the contest. Rules on how to win a PS5. We giving it away for the month of February. So check us out on the socials. Before we get off into the show, we're gonna cover the Super Bowl. We're gonna cover a bunch of stuff in the NBA. We're gonna bounce around a little bit, but of course, y'all know we gotta get some of the red tape out the way. Want to let y'all know that we everywhere that podcasts live: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, all of that. Make sure y'all tap in with us each and every time we do it. It's brand new yellow top for you. Hit us up in the mailbag, the Hitmen Podcast at gmail.com. And can't forget the socials, like I said, at Hitmen Podcast, at Labeled and Known, at Virtuoso Sports on Twitter. Yeah, like I said, bro, I was going to save it for the sneaker rundown, but I am going to get the mischief boots if I get my hands on them. I feel like it's a shoe of the year candidate. As silly, as ridiculous as it might seem, as it might sound, I really don't care what y'all think, but I care about what my dog thinks. So, you were what, 14, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay, so you gonna cop a pair for the photo shoot when we get ready to do this promo tour, when we going on the live tours this summer.
Hey,
You gonna catch your
that's
pair?
what we doing, bro.
Yeah, if you spray paint yours, we can do like Mario and Luigi, something like that.
Hey, green my favorite color. We
That's
can do
funny.
that.
That's funny. I wanted to talk to you about something real quick though.
Shoot.
I was having a conversation with one of my homies at work, and we were talking about just the Super Bowl, like champions in general. You know what I'm saying? How being the best is a very lonely status. So a lot of times, like when you think about Tom Brady finally retiring, calling it quits, he seemed like he's at peace with the situation. Not only because the team that he was going to be coming back to, if he went back to Tampa, like wasn't the greatest per se, but like he's done it all. You know what I'm saying? He lived it all. He's done it all. He's been to that height. What, 7 times already? Same thing with Mike. Mike got to the top 6 times.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's almost like being the best is cool, but it's tough being by yourself, I would imagine. You know what I'm saying? Like being at the apex, at the peak of your powers at all times, just like dominating the era, dominating in your field in any case. You don't have nobody to share with. You don't have a lot of people to relate to. So when LeBron passed the scoring record, a lot of people was criticizing Kareem about his reaction and how like he didn't really show like grace or show love to Bron. You know what I'm saying? And I think it kind of was just being looked at from a misunderstood standpoint. Yeah, I think that the record done been held. He done had the record for 40 years, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
nobody else knows how that feels or knows what it feels like to be in that, like in that threshold or in that upper echelon of players. 40 years passes by before somebody comes along, you go say, all right, dog, I know how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times just in life, people just want to be able to talk to somebody and say like, hear them say like, I know how you feel. I know exactly what you're going through. And feel that, not just it be lip service. So,
Yeah, and people forgot, man, the back and forth Kareem and LeBron been having the last couple years. Too,
yeah.
So,
And you seen I don't know if you saw the reaction that Brian got at the Super Bowl when they put him on the screen. but he did the whole like crown himself. It was a lot of like posturing. But the point I'm trying to make is like it's hard to criticize winners, or it's hard to criticize the greats about not giving grace or not really like being able to relate to folks that's kind of like in a space or in the sports world or even in life in general. It's hard to relate when you've been doing it for when you've been doing it at a high level for so long. It's a lot fewer people that are the best or do things at their highest level than there are people that aren't. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more average folks out here than are extraordinary. So it's just, I would imagine it's hard to relate being the best at something for so long and not having nobody to really like share it with or relate to, you know?
Yeah, because what you see a lot of times is it'd be people from different sports. You know what I mean? Where you get the moments where you had like Walter Payton and Mike back in the day used to kick it.
Yeah, that's different, right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine like Mike and Tom Brady can kind of like kick it or lock in on what's going on that level. Like they can't go certain places. They can't be around certain people. They can't just do regular stuff. Like Hove at the Grammys, you know what I'm saying? Like they had the cameras in him and Beyonce face the entire show. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else is there. Like everyone else got the same invite they got. But it's a difference when you sitting front row center at the Grammys versus when you in the third pew in the mezzanine somewhere. You know what I'm saying? The same way it's different if you sitting courtside at a game versus if you got the 300 level seats. It's just different. It's just a different level, a different way of doing things. And the only people that can kind of relate to that level of greatness is the people that can relate to that level of greatness. You know what I'm saying? You can't have them. The point I'm trying to make is you can't have them same type of conversations with any and everybody. So never shortchange yourself. Always appreciate the greatness that you like, being great in your field. We always want to strive for the best, but again, like everybody can't go where you trying to go if you're trying to be the best. That's pretty much why that was my point.
It's a fact, though. It's a fact.
Speaking of the best, man. Let's get off into the show. So where you watched the game at yesterday, bro?
The crib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super surround sound, the whole nine, you know what I'm saying? Like all of that.
Something like that, you know, sound bar, you know.
What your spread was looking like?
We just did it basic, man. Wings and pizza.
Okay.
I ain't do nothing too complicated.
Survival
Kept
pack.
it basic. Man, look, man, it never fails, right? It's all reliable.
Straight up and down.
What you much on?
Oh, we had everything. We thugged out. We had the super obese package. We had the pizza, the wings, the chips and dip. You know what I'm saying? All types of stuff. When you want to get the black creative kitchen, people just be trying shit out just to try it out.
True. That's true.
But it was worth it. It was worth it. It was me and my daughter, and then, you know what I'm saying, we just thugged it out. But in case you was living under a rock, or in case you was at your Super Bowl party, comatose from the food, the Chiefs defeated the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57, 38-35. Patrick Mahomes was the MVP of the game, the MVP of the league. 187 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. A lot of stories, a lot of storylines to take away from the game. The biggest thing for me was Jalen Hurts standing out. Like, he arrived in terms of not just as a quarterback, but an impact player. He had 304 yards passing with 1 passing touchdown to A.J. Brown. But he had 3 rushing touchdowns and a 2-point conversion in the game. Did everything he could to kind of will his team to win. But the second, it was just a tale of two halves, bro. The Eagles defense that everybody was bigging up and putting all their money on, they was nowhere to be found in the second half. And the Chiefs, I don't think they punted the whole second half at all. And they was getting beat. They was getting whooped on
every drive. I think it was 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah, bro. They was not having it. I don't know what happened in the back locker room. Somebody came in there and gave them that Al Pacino speech or something. But they did their thing, came back, walked the Eagles down.
Yep.
Talk of the town, word around the campfire is the pass interference call. Juju had been crying all game for calls. I don't even know if you saw that, but they kept catching him, like when he would get targeted or they'll come away from that camera angle, he over there throwing a temper tantrum. I know a lot of people hate Juju. I don't know about you.
Yeah, not a fan.
But yeah, got his jersey pulled on. allowed them a first down, a critical first down at the end of the game, where they kind of played around with the clock at the end. The Eagles was out of timeouts, and then Buckner, who had missed the initial field goal to start the game off when he hit it off the goalpost, ended up knocking one down, giving the Chiefs their second Super Bowl win in 4 years. Where you want to start? Where you want to go with? It's a lot of stuff being talked about. The dynasty factor with Mahomes, Andy Reid getting the ring, or you know what I'm saying, maturing late as a coach. Where you want to start at?
I mean, let's start with the winners. Let's start with the winners. They deserve the attention.
Travis Kelce was on one. He was talking.
Look, man,
he was talking cash shit at the end of the game, right?
Him and Pat Dad.
Who?
Pat Dad. Boy, he said we smoking on the Philly pack. Boy,
yeah,
what?
Big time. That was. I don't know who more hood, Pat Daddy or John Morant pops.
Oh, Usher.
Shawty Low, so yeah, man. Travis Kelce unguardable. It seemed like.
Oh yeah, I mean he's ridiculous, and then even after the catch, like he's been the best tight end in the league for a few years now because Gronk obviously retired, and he might have had like a year in there where Kittle had it, but for the most part, Kelce has been the best tight end in football for half a decade now.
It looked like ain't no stopping him either.
Yeah, and he working his way up that all-time tight end list.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago, best tight end quarterback combos.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Gronkowski now, trying to pull up. He got how many? He got how many Super Bowls? 4.
Yeah.
So.
And he's got a touchdown. He's got a touchdown in. Does he have a touchdown in every? He's got a touchdown in every Super Bowl he's played in. Does he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he have one in every AFC Championship game he's played in too in NFC? Like he's been pretty consistent. Like Gronk is literally the blueprint for tight ends.
So it's interesting because him and Travis Kelce are actually the same age. Gronk retired now, right at 33 years old, where Kelce. So he's retired at 33 with four rings, and then Kelce's 33 with 2 rings. So you'd imagine, like, not sure how much time he has left on his career. It's crazy to see, like, Gronkowski. I don't want to say he started late. I mean, started early, but he got a lot of it out the way in a very short amount of time. So the Chiefs look like they poised to make a run, a significant Super Bowl run. It's tough because the AFC is more stacked than the NFC is.
Yeah,
I saw people on TV today talking about who has a better chance of getting back, the Chiefs or the Eagles. I think the Eagles actually got a better shot simply because of the fact that the NFC is not as competitive as the AFC is. You know what I'm saying? You still got the Bills, you still got the Bengals, you still got the Chargers with Justin Herbert. Aaron Rodgers might be coming over there in a hot second. But nah, the Chiefs did their thing, man. They got a ton of weapons. Everybody said, like, they weren't going to do well without Tyreek Hill. Even, like, and speaking of that, the Dolphins are going to be competitive next year, too. But, like,
yeah,
they seem to just reload. They lost staff members. A lot was being talked about with Eric Bieniemy might finally be moving on to a head coaching spot or something like that. But with the winners, bro, this was one of the ones where they show, like, a lot of grit, a lot of, like, championship, like, I don't want to say swagger, but just like not fucking around. Like, we not losing this game to bro. He just got on the scene. It's odd time for real. So I was really impressed with the fact that they was able to kind of turn it on in the second half with the offense. The defense kind of let them down because the Eagles essentially scored or ran. They had the ball for damn near a whole hour in the beginning of the game.
They
right?
was moving in the first half.
Yeah, they were having no issues with the Chiefs.
That offensive line for the Eagles was pushing the Chiefs around at will.
For what it's worth, I thought Nick Bolton might have been able to have some MVP, Super Bowl MVP.
If he would have got credit for that second one.
That second one, right? And that was my dog. Like, I banged with Nick Bolton. I watched him play at Mizzou. But that turnover, the strip sack, the fumble recovery, and the touchdown, that's basically what kept the Chiefs in the game. Because without that, they wouldn't have won, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, because in the first one, it was fluky. Not a fluke in the sense of what Kansas City did, but that first one where the ball just slipped out of Jalen's hands,
Yeah.
like he had what 5 or 6 turnovers the whole year. Like it's just not a common thing. And if they was on the move on that drive too, had they scored there, that would have put them up what 17. So that was a big play, especially since it got returned for a touchdown. Yeah, and then you had the second one, and then like because before we get to the Eagles, I just want to make sure I get a Chiefs Day credit because in the second half, Pat Mahomes obviously came out going crazy on a bad ankle
after the fake ankle injury.
I mean, look, man. What can you say?
You know you.
What can you say? The story writes itself.
Dog. You know you. It's all good though.
But
they got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, he did, and some of the credit goes to Bieniemy for some of them play calls, especially when you talk about that Kadarius Toney red zone touchdown.
Yeah,
and then they ran the same play on the opposite side.
Faked the defense out, had him looking crazy. Gave him that
man.
It almost was like a step back in basketball.
Bro, like Bieniemy was on his shit, and it's crazy that he still ain't a head coach when they've never finished less than 5th in the league in offense since he's been there.
You know something to it.
Yeah. And so definitely credit to him. That Chiefs defense in the second half held up. I mean, Eagles were still able to move the ball a little bit, but and they still scored a few times, but they held up pretty well considering what the first half looks like.
Yeah.
Considering Kelsey, another big game, got his TD in early. I mean, shout out to Andy Reid, obviously. I mean, he's one of the most likable coaches in football history. So
it took him long enough, though.
Man, right? He got it done though. So yeah, it was a tale of two halves, in all honesty. And the Eagles couldn't get a pass rush the whole game. They didn't have a sack the whole game, which is surprising for statistically the third best pass rush we've ever seen.
Right.
From a sack number. So
right.
that Chiefs offensive line.
You talked about that last week. You said they got a sack in every game of the season. Hassan Reddick was an all-world.
They were I think they were 5 away from breaking the record. Obviously, there's an extra game in there, but just even from they had 15 more sacks than the second place team in the league. Like
you couldn't tell it by the game though. But
the Chiefs were second. So
my thing is this though. If you coming away from that game and you are the Bengals or you the 49ers or you're, I don't know, the Ravens, I don't think either one of these teams was better than me. You know what I'm saying? Or better than me and mine. Like I don't think that what they did this game was really as impressive as what you would have imagined if it was a low-scoring defensive struggle because they just was basically throwing the ball on each other all day. The Eagles ran the ball. The Chiefs did what they normally don't do, which is run the ball. You know what I'm saying? That was what was surprising to me. Even though MVS didn't get a catch the entire game, still made a difference with blocking, still made a difference with the different sets that they had. So, but if I'm either one of them teams that didn't make it to the Super Bowl, it's like, bro, neither team did anything special. It was wide open windows for Mahomes. Jalen Hurts threw one wide open bomb to AJ Brown. The rest of them, the touchdowns that they had was him rushing, like him running into the end zone. So without I guess like a mobile quarterback, if you will, like if I'm them teams that got dope ass defenses in a game that lack defense for real, like I'm like we with them next year. We running with them next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing for the Eagles too is they haven't really played from behind at all this year. Like they get off to the races early usually, and they usually got games over. Like a lot of games were over with by halftime. I think the Chiefs look more beatable, especially when you compare them to the years past, where their offense was just into the first quarter they up 21 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now they're a lot more beatable in terms of just any given Sunday kind of deal. But the thing that sets the Chiefs apart from every other team is Patrick Mahomes on 3rd and 4th down, and him in crunch time. Like they still gonna put up. They're not as explosive an offense as they were in years past. That's obvious. But if you get in a close game, Pat Mahomes is that dude.
He gonna do it.
He is that dude. And I mean,
he's gonna close shop.
Yeah, and I mean for the Eagles, I mean Jalen played almost as perfect as you can expect him to play outside of that fumble,
Yeah.
which was fluky fumble on his part. So I mean, I think Jalen balled out too, but he got into it. I mean, again, we've seen this before with Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or some of these other all-time great quarterbacks. You get into a close game with them at the end, you got your quarterback got to be on that level just for that day. Because if he not, that other quarterback gonna close the game every time.
Yeah,
We've
close.
seen it with Brady for 20 years.
You saw the Hail Mary that Jalen Hurts threw at the end. It kind of was a lame duck. They asked him about it in the post
Yeah,
game. He said his foot slipped. They were having a ton of problems. They even brought it up on TV while the game was going on. How slippery the field was. How much paint they had put on the grass. I saw a post online saying that they had been prepping the grass for the Super Bowl for almost a year. Um, Said the total cost to treat the field was $800,000. That was a
still
waste
wasn't
of eight hundred
good.
thousand dollars in my
Yeah,
opinion.
because they mentioned too that because the Chiefs play opened up the season there against the Cardinals,
Man,
and they said the Chiefs complained about it after the first game of the season.
bro, I could have called Mr. Gomez who cut my grass, and he could have got the field in better condition than them. You feel what I'm
Bruh,
saying?
they
For
seen a
eight hundred
pile of cleats on
thousand.
the sideline because the Eagles players switched cleats. Like, it just horrible feel. I mean, you've seen a couple times too where there was a couple of plays where people were slipping.
Yeah,
There was one specific one. It was early in the game. I can't remember if it was Scott or Gainwell, but they were trying to make a cut in the backfield, and boy, they just went straight down. It wasn't they ain't had no chance of making that cut.
let's talk about the elephant in the room real quick. The halftime performance, right?
Man,
People gonna hate me. I'm gonna let you go first though.
I mean, was it the greatest halftime performance? No. Was it as bad as some of the other ones we seen? No. It's kind of right there in the middle for me. Where I wasn't crazy about it, but I wasn't mad at it. Like, I, it just, what can I say?
Keep going. In the name of content, keep going.
You know, I for her to perform her part on Run This Town, but Jay not even come out, even though he the one in control of all of this, is kind of crazy to me. And then performing a Kanye song in all of the lights, like,
Run This
and I
Town
get,
had Kanye on it too, by the way. Don't forget that.
yeah, and I get that the whole Kanye thing right now, where he kind of blackballed from everything and all of that. But
Yeah,
like, just don't perform that song. Like Rihanna, you've been
yeah,
here for 20 years almost. Like you got enough songs to not perform that. Like,
yeah.
don't do that, man, like that. You know what I mean? Like, um, obviously she wasn't gonna be doing as much performing, considering what we've seen at the end.
Right.
Uh,
Congratulations.
um, which kind of changes things too. But I never necessarily looked at Rihanna as like a performer, if you get what I'm saying. Like a Beyonce, when she get out there, she gonna dance, she gonna have all the spectacle and all of that. Or like a Missy Elliott or a Mike Jackson or something like that. I never looked at Rihanna as like a performer in that on that level kind of thing.
Okay.
So, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be like some crazy show because she ain't never been a big dancer like that either. So,
Right.
it is what it is. I didn't hate it. It was forgettable.
I hated it. Let me start there. I hated it. Big up to her. Congratulations on her family. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations to her and her family, obviously. We saw the big bump. I'm just not a fan of like big pop stars just walking back and forth across the stage as a
Yeah,
performer. Like that was a rapper performance. That was like a not BET, Source Award performance. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, again, like it goes without saying, the obvious thing is like there's a reason that she wasn't gonna be able to do a whole lot. But the camera work was amazing. the stage, the stages were amazing. But a lot of that is like magic. You know what I'm saying? TV magic, magician stuff. Like I'm gonna distract you with the lights and this and that. It was TV tracks that she was singing over, which is cool. She obviously, again, she couldn't belt out certain notes because of, you know what I'm saying, being pregnant and the whole nine. But I watched it like 2, 3 times. Like my daughter loved it. I didn't know she was a Rihanna fan, but we're gonna put some more in her Serato. But I'm just like, dog, the walking back and forth, and you feel me? Like it was boring. Like she didn't really do much. She just and like again, like it go without saying. But my thing is like she took the job or took the contract, whatever it is. I don't think you get paid to perform at halftime of the Super Bowl, but it's for the look. It basically was like a 20-minute long Fenty advertisement. You know how all these commercials like that? That's the biggest thing for the Super Bowl is watching the commercials. That was like a big ass like ad for Fenty. You know what I'm saying? She had the longest commercial of the entire Super Bowl. So, my homie hit me today. He was like, "We're gonna talk about how the dudes in the white suits basically represent like ASAP Rocky sperm."
This is changing my whole image of this performance, bro.
Even the way they was like running, like with their arms and stuff out. It was funny. It was an attack on like basically trying to make a baby, like a rendition of like
one
procreation.
Big Super Bowl baby reveal, like the world's biggest baby reveal.
Yeah, basically. Like I don't know if you watched Succession, but in one of the episodes, it was Kendall's birthday. And like the lobby, the walkway is like you're entering like Kendall, like the birthday Kendall, like through his mom. It was weird. It's weird. But I don't know, man. Like I even feel like the Weeknd performance was better than hers. And his was kind of subdued too. It just was a lot of like fast camera movements and him just like walking around from
then
place
you had
to place
the weird face thing going on with him. Like
it just left a lot for what I was hoping from Rihanna. This supposed to be like her comeback. The other thing I'm to take away from the fact that she had, revealed that she pregnant with her second child. There ain't no way in the world that y'all getting another album from her, dog. Y'all ain't getting no music, fam. Music.
In the words of Nick Saban, stop asking.
We don't even listen to music. What? Music? Stop.
What?
Music. Nah, bro.
I got a question for you though.
What's the word?
Since obviously we going in more of a hip hop direction with these Super Bowl hip hop pop kind of direction with these Super Bowl performances now. I was about to say, bro, who is left that you have faith in?
Usher, for sure. That's what this whole like Vegas residency is for. Is Usher, is Drake, is Bad Bunny. That's it.
I don't want to see Drake.
You might not want to, but
I get why he would be there, but I'm saying from a performance standpoint, again, we talking about the rapper thing, walking back and forth, like
his is probably gonna be like a super like mashup, so he probably gonna have
he'll have notable songs, but like at least with Usher, like at least we gonna get to see Usher like break, like dancing, you know what I mean? Like give me somebody who gonna perform.
Listen,
like,
bro, Kendrick Lamar was in the last one with the L.A. celebration last year. Ain't no way in the world. First of all, I think the Super Bowl's in Vegas next year, right? I think
is that next year? Yeah.
If it's in Vegas, Usher definitely doing it. But ain't no way in the world Drake gonna have Kendrick Lamar do a Super Bowl and he not have a Super Bowl on his resume. You feel what I'm saying?
Like that's just how I feel about it. I just don't like people who I don't look at as performers. Like he got recognizable songs, yes. I mean, obviously he's been the most popular rapper in the world for a decade, basically. But as a performer, they killing me right now.
It's looking like boom. Next year, it's in Vegas. 2025, it's back in New Orleans at the. Now it's the Caesar Superdome. It used to be Mercedes-Benz Superdome. So yeah, that make perfect sense. If it's in New Orleans, Wayne will probably be on there, probably be in the running, which means of course Drake is gonna be there, and then next year it's gotta be. I feel like it gotta be Usher, gotta be.
Yeah, give me Usher and the Jabberwockies and let's call it a day. Because the Jabberwockies got the residency out in Vegas too. Bring both of them.
Word. Good point.
Look. I'm here for the dance. Look. Let me get the dancing part too. Like
this one was trash though. I ain't gonna front. I hate to say it, but I wasn't feeling it. I was like, and I bang with Rihanna. Like she got some heavyweight hitters, heavyweight classic records. But I just was like, man, there's a lot of people dancing around her. It's a lot of her walking back and forth. A lot of dope ass camera views. She looked great, right? The makeup was on point. Outfit was straight. She's beautiful. Obviously, go without saying, but from a performance standpoint, it was just like it was too cool for school for me. But that's it. That's it, man. That's all I got for that. Anything else from Super Bowl before we move around?
And people and I was rooting for the Eagles to win, but can we stop complaining about the refs here?
I think they did a pretty good job. They actually let them play. They let a lot of stuff go.
Yeah, and people complaining about that last call. Like, look, he grabbed him. Like,
he admitted it. He said he did.
He grabbed him. Like, if you can't, and this is my thing with like the Bengals and Rams Super Bowl last year, where people got mad that they was calling that at the end of the game on the Bengals, and I'm like, if you can't guard the dude. And y'all start mauling him, what y'all expect the refs to do?
What you want?
He grabbed, you know what I mean? And so in this game, he grabbed him, and Eagles. I mean, both teams played fairly clean football in terms of flags, but you can't do it in that situation. Yeah, that's the worst situation.
A lot of false starts, a lot of offsides, just because they was ready.
Gamemanship, and then you had a couple plays where they was trying to get,
trying to beat the count.
Beat the count or weird formation type thing. Like this game wasn't the ref's fault. The Eagles gave up four straight scoring drives in the second half. This was not the ref's fault.
We talked about Brett Favre last week. He's suing Shannon, Sharpe, and Pat McAfee.
Oh, bro. Yeah, I listened to Pat McAfee respond. Boy, he hilarious.
He trolled him all week, right?
Uh-huh.
Brett Favre look crazy. He look like a
extra
bozo.
crazy.
He look like a bozo. What are you doing, bro?
Extra crazy for allegedly doing what he did. I'm going to make sure I say that so we ain't in the same position as Pat McAfee.
Talk NBA. Trade deadline came and went. Kevin Durant on a new team. He showed up at the pre-Super Bowl party.
So mad that shit happened right after we potted.
Yeah, man.
Not even half an hour after.
I had to put the disclaimer on the last episode. People broke it down all week, but he's not gonna play until after the All-Star break. You think?
Yeah. Definitely after All-Star break. I mean, Phoenix has moved back up the rankings. I think they're sitting in 5th now. So
you heard today, Chris Paul came out and said that he wants Melo on the team.
I would too. I think Melo can still play.
They are already the favorites to win. They bring Melo in. It's kind of like a humanitarian award to kind of gift them a ring. It's like who used to do that? Team hopping at the end of their career to collect rings.
Spurs used to sign a lot of them.
I wouldn't disrespect Robert Horry like that because Robert Horry contributed. Of course, I think Melo can contribute, and everybody in the world think that he still deserves a shot on a team, on a roster. So, you think they should sign Melo? You think they should pick him up?
Yeah, I mean, this dude's in the league right now that couldn't give you 5 points a night.
Word.
Melo could get you 12. Guaranteed that.
Melo gonna get a ring finally. You think? if it happened that way, if it go down that way,
no, because I mean, shot. my main concern with the Suns at this point is health. So, yeah, Chris Paul ain't been able to stay healthy. I keep telling people, Devin Booker has had like 5 groin pulls in 2 years. Yeah. Something ain't right.
Something not right.
Something not right. Like, and it'd be like non-contact. Like, it'd be like non-contact stuff too. Like, he'll be going up for a layup or something, and next thing you know, up groin injury, he out for 3-4 weeks. Like, that concerns. Like, if it was just one, okay, whatever. But like, it's been like 4 of them in the last couple of years.
They talking Russell Westbrook got his sight set on possibly coming to the Bulls. Give him an opportunity to start if he does. Well, he took the buyout already. We're in the process of getting the buyout, but it's looking like the Bulls might be the front runner to pick him up. He's gonna be an instant starter if he comes in. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's not set in stone, but that's one of the places that he might be going after the whole trade. Where did he end up going? He ended up going to Utah, right? He wasn't a part of the Minnesota situation.
Yeah, Utah.
Okay. The Warriors and Gary Payton trade, it finally went through. They had some trouble last week because he Did he fail his physical, or was it like a misdiagnosis of the injury that he had at first?
He failed his physical. The Warriors found out that his because he had surgery on one of his abdomen muscles or something like that over the off season, and he's been playing. He's still been having complications with it.
Yeah.
Playing hurt in Portland, and they claim that he's been taking Toradol shots in Portland to play through the pain, and that Portland basically was telling Gary Payton to gut it out, and then they didn't disclose the injury information to Golden State. It's a bunch of, you know, under the table stuff going on with that. But Warriors gave up on James Wiseman.
Yeah.
Probably the big thing in that.
That's what we talked about earlier. You was on to something earlier when you was talking about that. You can go ahead and tell the people.
Oh, no, I think it's something fishy going on in Golden State. I think it's some beef going on between Kerr and Bob Myers.
Steve Kerr and Bob Myers, yeah.
Yeah, because even in that press conference when they asked Bob Myers about signing some bigs, because we was talking before, they have no bigs on their roster outside of Kayvon Looney now.
Right.
He's the biggest person on that roster at 6'9".
Right, and he doesn't. And he shares minutes. He shares his minutes quite a bit. He's the first one to always sub out during the game.
Yeah. So we was talking about them not having no bigs, and then today, of course, they asked Bob Myers in the press conference, and Bob basically said it don't matter if I go get a 7-footer or 8-footer if the coaching staff's not gonna play him.
Spicy.
Direct shot at Steve Kerr. Direct shot. And I think right now the issue is Steve Kerr has zero interest in developing or playing young guys, and he has the shortest of leashes with them. One of the vets could go out there and make 15 mistakes, and he'll let them play through it, and one of the young guys could make one mistake, and Kerr's pulling them out immediately. Like, he has zero want to deal with young guys at all. So, and Bob Myers is obviously trying to do both, you know, keep the team stable now and also build for the future. He's on he hasn't signed a new deal for a guy who has built a dynasty. He hasn't signed a new contract with them.
He was flirting with the idea of becoming the Lakers GM before they ended up settling on Rob Pelinka. The Lakers have been trying to get him heavy away from the Warriors after they won the back-to-back titles. They were trying to get him because they.
And you had some nasty stuff a couple weeks ago where Joe Lacob, the owner, in the interview said that Bob Myers not getting any contract offers from them was false, and that he already turned down 2 contract offers from the organization. So it's like, when do you ever see an owner go out there and say something like that? So it's like it's something going on behind the scenes, and I would not be surprised to see either Kerr or Bob Myers gone. I don't think I don't think at this point they can coexist because their philosophies are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Crazy that we're talking like that after coming off a title.
Yeah.
After coming off a title, bro.
Yeah, but you know, the last couple of years was supposed to be about developing young guys to get ready, but you can't develop. You can't develop sitting on the bench. You can only do so much in practice, but you need real game time minutes and real game time situations to get better. Right? And Bob Myers was refusing to trade these young guys for a minute, and then they finally he did Wiseman a favor and sent Wiseman somewhere where he can actually play.
I'm gonna read off a couple buyout names for you, potential guys that could be on the move and that could help some teams on the road to the postseason. Will Barton, Patrick Beverly, George Hill, Serge Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, DeAndre Jordan, Kevin Love, Derrick Rose, John Wall.
Yeah, well, Reggie's going to what? Phoenix or Denver? I've seen his name.
Terrence Ross is going to Phoenix.
Okay, so that was Reggie going to Denver, I think.
So Reggie Jackson's going to Denver.
I want to say it was Denver then, because Ross was going to the Mavs at first, but then he changed his mind and went to the Suns.
Can we talk why it's taking so long for Kevin Love to get to the Boston Celtics when he's 5 years overdue?
Because you know where he's going. Stop playing. Stop playing. You know where he's going.
Rick James, the Dave Chappelle Rick James, right?
The man got purple and gold socks on right now. You know where he's going.
I mean, is that gonna make a difference though?
And that was Danny Ainge that wanted him on the Celtics all them years, and he in Utah, nah.
So is
So
that gonna make a difference though?
for the Lakers,
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Love was playing some good basketball last year. They kind of changed up their rotations with him
Right.
lately, and now they got Donovan, so it's less shots to go around. But Kevin Love still got some decent basketball in him off the bench. But for the Lakers, does it help the Lakers? No.
Nah, negatory.
Would it help the Warriors? Yes.
I
Because at
didn't
least
think about
Kevin Love can grab rebounds and shoot threes.
I didn't even think about that. Good
Those are
point.
the two things he can do really well: grab rebounds and shoot threes. That's all the Warriors want, really. And he's a good passer, so
Definitely didn't think about that. Good point, bro.
that would be a good fit for them. Honestly, well, I think he would be a good fit in Denver as well. A big who can kind of space the floor and kind of pass a little bit. He doesn't have the ball handling of Jokic, but the offense wouldn't have to change as much, if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So I mean, that'd be a good spot. I mean, Dallas at this point could use all the help they can get because it's a two-man show.
That's not a bad look for him either. Kevin Love on Dallas.
Yeah, they can use all the help they can get. I mean, Boston could use them too, like you mentioned.
The Nets actually playing really well despite losing KD.
Yeah, they got some good young pieces up there.
They lost tonight, but Bridges and Cam Johnson came in like they didn't miss a beat the other day.
Yeah, and then Nick Claxton been hooping. You know,
Yeah, I got him as one of my candidates for most improved this season.
He got to be up there.
Yeah.
I wonder where we see. Most improved would be tough because like I knew Ty Halliburton could do all of this, but should he be a candidate for most improved? Like,
I mean, like I said, Nick Claxton is one of them. He's not. I don't got him winning it. I think Tyler Halliburton is leading that category. So,
but yeah, I mean, if you got Franz Wagner, I mean, you got some candidates out there. But I mean, to even be mentioned in that, considering what our expectations of Claxton was, not bad.
exactly.
Not bad.
All right. You got anything else on the NBA? We're gonna move to the quick hits real quick.
Oh, John Wall. Why they send that man back there, bro?
Oh, they're trying to be funny. They're trying
Why
to be
they send
funny.
him back there, bro?
They're trying to be funny.
Why they do my man Jay like
There's
that,
something
bro?
going on. The business in the NBA is kind of nasty, bro. It's kind of weird the way they move around.
Yeah, it's getting kind of weird.
They send him right back. You feel me?
Man, look, just go ahead and go to Miami, bro.
He's supposed to been out there. He's supposed to been there from jump.
Miami desperate right now.
He's supposed to been there from jump. Kyle Lowry wanted out. I wanted to see D Rose come back to the crib. I think everybody wanted to see him come back to the crib.
Yeah. I mean, Tibbs don't want to play him this year.
I don't know, man. Y'all keep it locked.
Move out the bed.
Let's move to the quick hits. Real interesting story that came out. I shot it over to you earlier before we got on. So boom. So Greg Olsen and Kevin Burkhardt called the Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. They said right now as the number one color guy for Fox Football, Greg Olsen makes about $10 million a season, picking up that bag that Troy Aikman left him on the way to ESPN, ABC. But with Tom Brady retiring and being the incumbent to come in and actually do TV next year, they said Greg Olsen might have to take a pay cut and fall back to the number 2 spot on the color team. The most interesting part of that is if he take a pay cut, they talking about he gonna be more in the $3 million range versus the 10 that he's in right now. I'm rewatching Narcos right now, and I'm like, I would have went Pablo on their ass. Like, nah, tell him I want 30 instead. You feel me?
Bro. And on top of that, like,
How I go from calling a Super Bowl to taking a pay cut and a demotion in position? Nah, dog.
that big a pay cut too. It'd be one thing if it was like, all right, we're gonna drop you down to 8 mil from 10. No, they said we cutting 66%.
Nasty
What?
as hell.
What?
I'd be ready to whoop Tom Brady ass. I don't give a damn what you did.
And on top of that, bro, like, okay, like I get it if you got your A guy and your B guy, but like your A guy is really only like super important from like your primetime games, which Fox don't have that many primetime football games anyways, because most of their games come on early day and midday. So
CBS, that's Tony Romo territory. NBC, they got it on Smash at night, and then Monday.
yeah,
night,
so it's like you can still do the Brady on one of the games and Olsen on the other one. Like, big deal.
Bro, I be doing all type of petty shit.
Man, look,
Unplugging his mic. I be sending all type of shots when I'm on the air. You know what I'm saying?
look, man, I'm definitely
That's
heading
like two
to
people on the
another
same
network.
label. That's like two people on the same label mad that, you know what I'm saying? Like putting out albums the same week.
I'm definitely heading to another channel at that point. Because I think Greg did a good job too. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like I like Greg. Like that's my man G Reg. If you ain't never seen the old Miami rapping video,
Word. Shout out to
but
30 for 30.
look, bro.
That was funny.
But like, yeah, like that's just crazy to me. Like that
$7
big a pay
million
cut.
pay cut, bro. Is you crazy?
Like did he agree to that beforehand, or like is this like them trying to force that on him? Because that's two different things. Like if he agreed to that, then he's just a dummy. But
And the anxiety of having to wait on this dude to figure out whether or not he gonna, like, Tom Brady could easily be like, bro, I let you live. You know what I'm saying? I went back to play so that you could keep getting your check. Like, you can't be mad if you ain't save your money or you ain't do what you're supposed to do with your bread. That's on you. But you pretty much you keeping my seat warm. Like, that's what that message sends to me if I'm Greg Olsen. And like you said,
That's
for what it's
just
worth, he
wild.
did a great job. But how I go from calling a Super Bowl to taking a pay cut?
yeah, like that just don't equate. Like for me, like yeah, that just don't equate for me.
His contract is up in 2026, by the way, so he got an opportunity to carve out a name, become a household name. Maybe he goes and does some studio stuff for them. Maybe he goes to another network for a bigger bag, depending on how things shake out. I think Fox gets, the next time they get a Super Bowl is in 2020. What's it, 2023? 2027, because ABC bought into getting a Super Bowl in. So instead of it rotating every 3 years to the networks that had it, NBC, CBS, and Fox, now it's every 4 with NBC coming in. Speaking of NBC, they're getting ready to make a bid for the NBA. They haven't had NBA on their television, on their network in 20 years, since 2002 was the last time they had it.
God,
So they looking to have it back on the airwaves pretty soon. We got a little taste of it with the Olympic coverage. Just to even hear that throwback theme song, dun, 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 you know what I'm saying?
Especially during the finals and the playoffs, bro. Like
Yeah.
we grew up on that
Yeah,
Jordan
big-
era.
big
You know what I
fight-
mean? Like
big fight feel. Hell yeah.
that's our NBA playoff. You know what I mean?
Word.
Man, please, because I'm cool with TNT for the most part, but I mean, let's ESPN, please.
Did you catch the Air preview, the movie, the Nike movie, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon?
Yeah.
They got Viola Davis playing Jordan Mama.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, it's Viola, man. Come on, man. It's Viola, bro.
All right, I'll leave it at that. You think it's gonna be dope though?
Yeah, I'm with you on that part.
Who gonna play
Like,
Mike? Who gonna play Mike is the real question.
I don't know. Maybe they get.
Because you know they're doing that on purpose. They keeping whoever that.
Maybe they
is
get
out.
Anthony McKee to play him since they thought he was a good idea to play Tupac.
They keeping him out of the previews at this point, so we'll see, man. What's the name playing Phil Knight? Ben Affleck.
Ugh. Wait, who playing Tinker is what we need to know.
I think it's Matt Damon playing. Nah, I don't know who he playing. I don't know.
Because as a speakerhead, that's really what we care about. Who playing Mike? Who playing Tinker?
Speaking of sneakerheads, we ain't done one of these in a while. Big shoe week, big news, rundown. So check it out. Obviously, I already mentioned I am going to get the mischief boots. I don't care what nobody has to say about it. Kiss my ass. So what? Kiss my ass, so what? I don't have no dime receipts. But yeah, I'm copping them. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of celebs wearing them on. I think they're going to be dope. But big shoe gets to the week. So first and foremost, we're going to go with February 15th, the Jordan 1 High Black and White 1985. Obviously, the Nike Dunk craze, the Panda craze was like off the charts last year. This is right behind it. This is gonna be a lot tougher to get, obviously, because it's a Jordan 1. It's a retro high. It's the new Chuck Taylor. The Jordan 1 is the new age Chuck Taylor. But they're coming out on the 15th on the sneakers app. Get up early. Make sure you're situated. February 17th, you got the Air Penny 2. These are one of my favorites right here. The football gray and blue colorway. They also got a rosewood colorway, but this one is the classic. February 17th, also a Jordan 1 for the ladies. Game Royal and Varsity Made, the blue and yellow joint. February 18th, you got the Black Panther 13s, the playoffs. These are from, what, 97? 98. These are 98. The home, when he used to wear these on the home games, when they had the white jerseys. I got a pair now, but I want to cop a pair for a refresh. Boom. You got some LeBron 20s coming out. Obviously, big releases because it's All-Star Weekend. You always get big dog releases during All-Star Weekend. Obviously, the signature athletes. Giannis has one coming. LaMelo got one coming for Puma. LeBron got his All-Stars coming. PG. Donovan Mitchell got one. He got an Xbox colorway coming out for All-Star Weekend. I love All-Star Weekend shoes, bro. There's always a big release for Jordan. It's like a big advertisement, but I'm surprised that Super Bowl doesn't have that anyway. Super Bowl doesn't have that. They don't have like a signature Nike athlete or a Nike cleat or something like that. I know Odell Beckham had he had the Air Max 270, but them kind of came and went. I'm surprised he ain't getting no looks to be on. He wasn't getting no looks to be on nobody's roster towards the end of the season. It'd have been nice to see him in the Chiefs uniform, right?
He was almost a Cowboy,
right? He almost was, but ended up.
They said he wasn't gonna be right in time, so I expect to see him on the team next year. I just don't think teams thought he was gonna be ready in time. Then you had that whole bullshit plane incident, which I'm not an Odell fan, but they did him dirty on that plane shit, bro.
Yeah,
they did him extra dirty.
It was wild. They owe him for that. They damn near owe him an endorsement for that. To be continued. So we was gonna have CJ from I Ain't Going pull up. He had a game show question, but I'm gonna save it for when he get better. Speedy recovery. Say he came down with COVID. So shit. Big prayers up to him and his family. So we're gonna save it until he get better. He gonna pull up on us and we're gonna do a 3-man weave. We're gonna do a breakout transition. So we're gonna go straight to the shout outs for this week. Who you got, bro?
Man, look, I ain't got no shout outs this week.
You ain't fucking with nobody this week.
It's been a long week, bro. It's been a long week.
All right, I'll go ahead and carry it. Shout out to Michigan State University. Obviously, the tragic shooting that happened today. Michigan State has canceled all their athletic events pending the investigation, and just want to keep my prayers, heart and mind, prayers and thoughts to the families of the victims and the folks that were affected by the shooting today. Shout out to the Super Bowl stage in general. Big round of applause. Obviously, it's like the apex of American culture, American sports culture. Super Bowl 57 drew 113 million views, the third most in history. So shout out to them shout out to Fox putting on an amazing broadcast. It's funny that they went and showed Rupert Murdoch up in the stairs, and then Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson was like, yeah, that's the guy that writes our checks, by the way. So yeah, man, shout out to Fox, and shout out to just the Super Bowl in general. You know what I'm saying? It never gets old. It's always a surprise or two. Again, shout out to Rihanna and her family. She basically like doing a big reveal at the Super Bowl, announcing that she's pregnant with a second child. So shout out to Rihanna.
Was this the first time? When was the last time somebody performed and didn't have like a secondary act with them, or like a guest appearance from another act?
The Weeknd. The Weeknd. 2 years.
He didn't have any guest acts with him?
No, 2 years ago. 3 years ago, because Shakira and J-Lo was Miami, and then the year after, it was The Weeknd. So that was 2, maybe 3 years ago. Yeah,
because it's not common.
Yeah,
they don't like that one surprise act that'll pop out.
They don't usually carry the show by them. They don't usually carry the full halftime show by themselves. But
yeah.
Yeah, man. That's gonna do it for me. Get in tune with the contest. Again, we got the PS5, we got the raffle going right now. We got quite a few entries in right now. So shout out to everybody. We taking the roll call. You basically go to the Instagram page, go to my Instagram page, or go to the Hitmen Podcast Instagram page. Follow the instructions on the page to get your entry in. The deadline is February 28th to get your entry in. We're gonna do the live drawing and announce the winner on March 1st, 2023. On the road to episode 100. But in the meantime, I want to let y'all know one more time before we get up out of here, we everywhere that podcasts live. So ain't no excuse. You can find us wherever you need to. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, all of that. Make sure you hit us up in the mailbag, the hitmenpodcast@gmail.com.
Yo, this is Scoop Jackson, and you are tuned into the Hitmen Podcast.
Don't forget the socials, like I said, for the rules and just to hang out, kick it with the guys. It's at Hitmen Podcast, at Labeled and On, at Virtuoso Sports on Twitter. And last but certainly not least, before we get up out of here.
What happened here was a miracle, and I want you to acknowledge it.
All right, it was a miracle. Can we go now?
We'll catch y'all next week. We gone. Holla!
Out of the target center. Oh!